think what people are trying to do is they're trying to get their hands around how to deal with these roofers who are hyper soliciting all these neighborhoods. And they believe that if they offer a roof policy that pays on an actual cash value or a depreciated roof schedule, that it will be less attractive for those roofers to solicit those claims. Nobody knows what the end result will be. Maybe it will be, maybe they will continue to solicit. We don't know what the impacts, but that's what they believe, and that's how they're trying to get their hands around this problem. I think I would take a more direct approach, because remember, if you offer that policy, ultimately you're going to now have a consumer that when they have to replace this roof from a covered legitimate event, they're going to have to pay a lot more out of pocket. Now, I'm okay with them choosing that. If a homeowner says, listen, my risk appetite, I'm happy to retain more of the risk and only transfer a certain amount to the insurance company, and they understand what they're buying and what they're retaining, policyholders should have the right to make that decision, right? So I'm not against that. But what I'm saying is if the issue is the roofers, let's address the roofers, right? A couple things. Roofers aren't licensed. They're not bonded. They don't have any experience, legitimate experience to handle or adjudicate insurance claims, okay? If you look at insurance is regulated by the states. Everybody that is involved in the insurance business has to have a license, right? So if you're an insurance company adjuster, there's a specific license. If you're a public insurance adjuster, there's a specific license. If you're a customer service rep, there's a specific license. If you're an insurance company, there's a specific license. If you're an insurance agent, there's a specific license. If you're a surplus lines agent, there's a specific license. The reason why that is because insurance is complicated and there's a lot to know, right? So I wouldn't be opposed to a roofer going into a neighborhood and walking around and saying, hey, that roof looks old, looks like it needs to be replaced, and knocking on somebody's door and saying, listen, I'm a local roofer. I've been in this market in your local area for 20 years. I got workers' comp. I got great people that work for me. I got great materials. It looks like your roof is getting towards the end of its useful life. I'd love to give you a quote or proposal on replacing your roof. Can I do that? Completely appropriate. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But the minute that roofer says, hey, listen, let me give you a free inspection because I think I can get you a free roof from your insurance company, and we're getting all these people in your neighborhood free roofs paid by their insurance. Go get me your insurance policy. Let me review it to make sure you got coverage, and then we'll help you navigate this claims process to get you the money. You're going into the area of regulated insurance, right? So I think you can crack down on that behavior and make it super clear that the minute the roofer or third party or whoever else that's not a licensed individual that's going out there soliciting doesn't have the proper licensure, should be immediately arrested for unlicensed activity, right? That will send an immediate message to the marketplace that you're not allowed to do this. That will shut things down right away. Like we said, there's other things that these roofers are doing. So many times when they do the roof or they have the sales pitch, they're utilizing an assignment of benefits, right? So they're saying, hey, listen, just assign the claim over to us. We're going to work with your insurance company. We have our own attorneys that we work with. They probably don't even disclose on the front end that they're going to sue, but in that contract gives them the right to sue. If you limited assignment of benefit contracts only to emergency services, then that whole model breaks down and doesn't work, right? Because they won't have control of the claim and they won't be able to bring the lawsuit. So there's things that you can do to target the actors and the bad behavior without necessarily reducing coverage. Now, if I'm a homeowner, I think homeowners should be able to have options, right? So if I'm a homeowner and my insurance company says, hey, listen, we are going to have to cancel your policy or non-renew your policy because your roof is 16 years old and it doesn't meet our underwriting criteria. However, if you agree, we could sell you a policy with a depreciated roof schedule, but it's your choice. And the homeowner says, listen, I agree, because I don't want to go to Citizens, or maybe I'm not going to qualify with Citizens, or I could get forced place insurance, like we talked about before, that could put them at risk of losing their house. So if they decide that that's what they want, then I get it. But I still don't think we should be using the argument that we should be doing that to address the problem with the roofers. If we have a problem with roofers or contractors, then we need to deal with them directly. Okay. If you still want to give consumers choice, and it's truly a choice and an option, and they understand what the choice is, and they feel comfortable with retaining that additional risk, then that's something that I'm amenable to.